Please join me in thanking Craig one more time for the grace and the wit that he brings to so many of these occasions. Thank you, Craig. Before my last official duty of the night, I'm going to sneak in something else. It's an invitation. We're celebrating one community, one family, and we have an opportunity to come together as a community next Tuesday, September 4th, and break a Guinness Book of World Records. We are sponsoring a high five challenge at 4:30. You can pre-register on the United Way website, and it would be so exciting if Terre Haute were in the Guinness Book of World Records for breaking a record, and it would be so sad if we tried to do it and failed. So don't let us fail. We need about 2,000 people to ensure that we break the record, so join us. So now my last official act is to invite Jeanette Winchester, 2014 Chair of the Board, and I might add, the first female chair of the board in the Chamber's 101-year history, to the stage.
Well, good evening. What a great night of one community, one family we're having. I would like to ask Kurt Wilkinson if he could join me up here. Here he comes. I'd like to take a minute and congratulate all the winners, all the 5-generation businesses, and a special thank you to my dear friend Dottie King, president of St. Mary of the Woods College, for being our formal MC tonight. Thank you. There's a special person that I'd like to take a moment and recognize before we go a little bit further. I'd like to ask B.J. Riley to come up and join me. B.J. was the 2013 board chair, and he served us well. I learned a lot from him, and together with our executive committee and our board of directors, we drove the chamber forward to bring us to where we are today. B.J., I'd like to thank you for your time, your commitment, and your continued service to the chamber. Your tenure in office would just not be complete without receiving the lamp. And this year, it comes with a bulb, and that's an inside joke.
Thank you so much.
What does one community and one family mean to each of you? Terre Haute has often been described as having its own unique definition, the community that's known as a family. They're going to start some videos here in a minute. They're going to be showing us some pictures of families in business ranging from multi-generational to entrepreneurial startups. As the song we heard earlier says, together we form the Chamber Bunch. However, if you looked at the literature that we sent you to entice you to come tonight, what it really said was we're going to be honoring you, and you, and you back there, and you right here in front, and you over here, and you here. So that's what we're going to do right now. It's a little crowded, but I want you all to take a moment and push your chair back slightly because you're going to be standing. I haven't heard the chairs scrape. Now's a good time to do that. You're about to participate in the first ever chamber aerobics. Mayor, this is all about your health initiative. I didn't tell you to stand yet. See, you've already done your first aerobic movement. I'm going to recognize the way that we celebrate one community, one family right here in Terre Haute. If what I call out fits, stand, and then you'll sit. And then I'll call something else out, and then you'll stand, and then you'll sit. And if I can see you and you're not standing and I know that it's you, I will call you out. So, since you've been sitting for a long time, this is going to give you a chance to move just a bit. So let's start with our most basic family, just to get you warmed up. This is our biological family. I will ask you to stand if you have a mother or a father or a spouse or a child or a grandchild, an aunt or an uncle. Come, nobody's standing. Shirley, come on. If you've got a biological, there we go. Everybody up. Okay, come on. Everybody who has a biological, Steve Panagolius, I know you do. Okay, now sit back down. We're not going to applaud. We'll applaud later. You saw 5-generation businesses, which I would like to ask stand, along with anyone else who works in a family business, a family-owned business, or any business that you go to work with a family member every day. That's a pretty good crowd. Okay, you guys sit back down. I want to recognize our financial family. That would be people who assist businesses and families in our community through financial counseling, guidance, direction. In other words, it's all you bankers out there. The bankers and the credit unions, anybody who has a financial family that helps our families stand. Okay, you may be seated. Here's a special one. If you work in the Vigo County School Corporation, would you please stand and stay standing for a moment? These are the people who the Vigo County School family teaches our families. And now stay standing, because if you work in any of our 5 higher learning institutions, please join them. Indiana State, Rose-Hulman, I know you're here, Ivy Tech, I saw Leanne, Harrison College. Oh, and Rose-Hulman, I think you're right over there. Come on, you gotta stand up here. Be recognized. There they are. I knew Rob and Tammy were here. These are the people that we call our education family. You can sit back down. I would be remiss if we didn't recognize the healthcare industry, whose healthcare families take care of the health of our families. So if you work in the healthcare industry, please stand as part of our healthcare family. Thank you, and probably one of the most important things is our charities. If you work in a charity in our community, please stand and stay standing. I know Deb's here, and my dance partner's here, Troy's here. If you're on a board or a committee of a nonprofit charity, please stand and join them. Oh, look at all of them popping up now. If you have supported a nonprofit by attending an event, that would be 100 Men Who Cook, any of those kind of things. If you've attended an event, if you've written a check, if you've given $1 to help someone less fortunate, stand. And I want you to take a minute and look around. If you don't believe we have a loving, giving, caring community, just take a look around. Take a look. I don't know if there's anyone setting, but now you can. If your business is a member of the Chamber of Commerce, stand up. This will get you up. Or if you were invited here to join this day, this evening, as by a member of the Chamber of Commerce, stand up. Oh, Shirley, come on. Or this is Holman Company. There we go. Look around. Look in front of you, look behind you, look beside you. This is our business family who care about what happens day in and day out in our business community, who support one another by shopping local. This is our business community who support our Chamber of Commerce, and your Chamber of Commerce supports you. Have a seat. Okay, now give yourself a big round of applause. In 1989, I received a phone call. My family, we were living in Chicago at the time. And they said, we want to promote you, and we're going to transfer you to Terre Haute, Indiana, where you'll take over our central Indiana and Illinois and southern districts. We knew no one. The first thing I said is, where is Terre Haute? I was born and raised in Iowa. Didn't know where it was, although I had a record club that I knew was on Fruit Ridge. And I wanted to see Fruit Ridge Avenue because I'd bought so many records over the years, the big records. Well, we knew no one. No support system. The community here embraced us. As we dropped our son off at Lost Creek, they've never been the same. As we dropped our daughter off at Woodrow Wilson, they were in good hands with our school corporation. They both graduated from Terre Haute North. They're married, they have productive lives, and wonderful families that we get to bounce our grandchildren around with. We found a church that was our faith, where we were embraced and loved. We had fellow employees who welcomed us to the city. I found them all, and they embraced me in ways that my husband to this day shudders about. I counted up how many times I would have personally stood. It was 5. 25 years ago, I knew no one. I shared a story with the young leaders last year, and I'm going to share it briefly with you. And it's just a little something I want you to think about. It's a story about a little Iowa farm boy. He was out wandering the fields one day, and he found this great, huge egg laying on the ground. He ever so gently picked it up and ran it back home, showed it to his mother, and said, "Mom, look what I found. I found this great big egg." The mother looked at it and said, "Oh, I don't know. Your dad will be in for lunch in a minute." Dad came in and he showed him his treasure. Dad said, "Wow, that's an eagle's egg. And now that you've picked it up, I don't think we're going to be able to get it back to the mother." The little boy started to tear up and said, "What are we going to do? Dad, what are we going to do?" He said, "You know what we're going to do? We're going to take it out to the hen house. And we're going to see if Otillie will sit on that egg and hatch it with the eggs that she's sitting on." So they did. Every day the little boy went out there, and every day the egg was still there with the other ones. Till one day he went out there and there was nothing but a bunch of eggshells laying around. He got all excited. He was nervous, but something obviously had happened. Well, the eggs had hatched. And there was little bitty chicks and one big, ugly, awkward eagle. He grew bigger, the chicks grew bigger. He grew big, big, big. And one day as they were out in the barnyard, a grave cast palled over the top. It was the dreaded chicken hawk. Knowing death was imminent, the little chicks tried to run in. They got back into their chicken coop, but the eagle had gotten so big that he couldn't make it through the little opening. He started to panic. His little wings started to go. He started to go. And knowing death was imminent, he just closed his eyes and his wings stretched out and he soared. He flew. He'd been raised a chicken and he didn't know that he could fly. And soon he was soaring higher than the dreaded chicken hawk, soaring on to become the great eagle that we know of today. And there's a moral to that story. And the moral is you never know how high you can fly until you test your wings. Tonight we celebrated family. From Carrie's beautiful rendition of our national anthem, a graduate of St. Mary of the Woods family, and a teacher in the Vigo County school system family. To the young leaders recognizing one of their own family. To my dear, dear friend, Rachel Leslie, joining the Athena family. And to all of you whose efforts make Terre Haute one community, one family. Yes, my family came to Terre Haute by job transfer. We live and stay here by choice. Tonight, I thank all of you who welcomed my family to Terre Haute 25 years ago and made it ever so easy for us to stay and be part of one community and one family. Thank you.